Hello friends, myself Sanjay Patil, and today we will discuss environmental assessment part 2. So last time we have discussed environmental impact assessment definition, then objectives of EIA, then first environmental legislation, then EIA methodology, EIA process. So these points we have discussed in our last presentation. So in this presentation, that is part 2, we will see methods of impact identification, and last point in this chapter is project categories based on environmental impact. Yeah. So now the methods of impact identifications are: first is checklist, then second is matrices, third is networks, fourth is map overlay, and last is GIS and expert system. So these are the 5 methods which are used for impact identification of the various development activities or impact of various development activities on environmental issues. Now let's see one by one. First is checklist. Checklist consists of listing of potential environment impact. So as I have discussed earlier, there will be various environmental impact during a development project. So first of all, we have to find out what could be the various environmental impacts on the project. So checklist is a first tool used to assess the impact. So this method is used to assess the nature of impacts, that is its type, then the impact is adverse or impact is beneficial, then it is short term, it is long term, or no effect or significant effect, significant impact, or reversible or irreversible impact. So that we can find out by using checklist. So now there are 5 types of checklists are there. First is simple. So in simple checklist, just we are going to arrange a question, and in front of the question we will mark yes or no for that particular question. So second type is descriptive, where the question is asked or question is written, and for that the descriptive answer is written. So what will be the potential environmental impact of this particular activity, that is written in descriptive manner. Third is questionnaire. So here various questions will be raised, various questions will be answered by using yes, no, or any other. In this way there would be a questionnaire of various environmental impacts. Fourth type of checklist is threshold concern. So here also various potential impacts are identified, and then their threshold value is decided, right? Suppose for a particular environmental impact, the threshold value that is calculated, that would be, for the sake of understanding, consider as 10. Okay, that means 10 will be the threshold value for that particular impact factor or impact parameter, and actual value by assessing all the things, that would be 8. So 10 is maximum, and we are assigning that particular parameter value as 8. So this type of questionnaire will be there. And last is scaling checklist. It is similar to descriptive checklist, but with additional information on subjective scaling of the parameter. So it is similar to descriptive one. So next tool is matrices. Matrix are 2-dimensional tables which facilitate the identification of impacts arising from the interaction between the project activities and specific environmental components. They are essentially expansions of checklist that acknowledge the fact that different components of development project, that is construction, operation, decommissioning, building, access road, that are considered. The entries in the cell of the matrix can be either qualitative or quantitative estimates of impact. So we will see one type of matrix here. This is called as Leopold matrix. So you can see the table. So here project actions are mentioned. So project action would be blasting, drilling, surface evacuation, then mineral processing. So these type of project actions, various project actions are identified and they are mentioned in this row. And here environmental characteristics such as soils, landforms, surface water, groundwater, ocean water, air, erosion. So these are the various environmental characteristics are identified and that are mentioned in this column. Okay. So now for this particular region, this region is divided by a slash line. Okay. So again I will repeat. Identify all the actions that are part of the proposed project that we have done. Under each of the proposed action, place a slash at the intersection with each atom in the side of the matrix if an impact is possible. That also we have seen how to slash the intersection. Then the upper left hand corner of each box with a slash, place a number from 1 to 10 which indicates the magnitude of the possible impact. So this upper part will indicate the magnitude of the possible impact that we have to decide here and write here. So this particular part is magnitude of the impact. Okay. And 10 represent the greatest magnitude of impact and 1 is least, that is 0. Before each number place positive. So we have to write just a positive and the number. Then the lower right hand corner of the box place a number 1 to 10 which indicates the importance of possible impact. So here at this point we have to decide the importance and we have to give the importance in numerical value. That will be a numerical value that we have to decide. Importance of possible impact. Okay. So it will be regional versus local, or 10 represent the greatest importance and 1 is least important. Okay. So that we have to decide and give. One more thing is there. Finally, we have to come up with a summation of this particular magnitude of impact that you can see here, and here summation of the importance that we have decided, that also we have to come up with a summation here. Again the same thing for this particular row. So for each row and each column we are going to have the summation of magnitude and summation of importance. So we will come to know for each project action and for each environmental characteristic how much magnitude of impact is there and what is the importance, right? Next tool is network. So it illustrates cause effect relationship of project activities and environmental elements. Then network is an alternative for illustrating the secondary and subsequent event of action on environmental elements. Networks are useful in identifying the secondary impact, that is indirect or cumulative. The advantage of network approach is that it permits clear tracing of high order effects of initial actions. Mitigations and control measures can also be illustrated. Mitigation measures means to prevent the effect of adverse environment, that is called as mitigation measure. One problem encountered in applying the network is that many high order effects can be postulated that are actually unlikely to occur. That means network is that many high order effects can be we have to consider the high order effects, so that will be a consider as fact, right? Then next tool is overlay. It is an effective visual aid useful as documentation of environmental condition and environmental conditions existing before project implementation. May describe both biophysical and social aspect of area under study. Then overlay method is effective in considering sensitive land requiring protection human activity, that is shorelines, then wetlands, etc. Then it is also applied to hazard land requiring protection from environment, that is floodplains, unstable slopes, volcanic slopes. And it is also applied to renewable resource area where the environment needs to be protected from human activities like fish and wildlife habitat. So in this particular area, this overlay tool can be used. And last tool is GIS and expert system. So it is, GIS means, as you know, geographical information system that can be applied to assess the environmental impacts. So GIS stores and retrieves, manipulates and displays environmental data in a spatial format. A set of maps of given area provide different types of information and scale of resolution. Expert systems are also used to assist the diagnosis and problem solving and decision making. So these are the 5 tools that can be used, or better, that can be used to assess the environmental issues, environmental impacts. So last point in this chapter is project categories based on environmental impact. The EIA notification, Environmental Impact Assessment Notification 2006 mandates prior environmental clearance for new projects or activities, including expansion or modernization of existing projects. So we have to take prior permission of environment, or we have to take environmental clearance for the project. And now the projects are categories like A category, B category, that we are going to see. A category projects require environmental clearance from the center, and the B category project from the concerned state level environment impact assessment authority. So A category project has to get clearance from the center, that is New Delhi, and B category project should get the clearance from the state level environment impact assessment authority. The notification prescribes that B category projects can be further categorized as B1 and B2 except for township and area development project. So again, B type of projects are categorized into B1 and B2. The Ministry of Environment and Forest is assigned the task of issuing appropriate guidelines from time to time for such projects. So it will Ministry of Environment and Forest, that will assign the task of certain guidelines. So it will issue certain guidelines time to time, and that has to be followed for development activities. The projects categorized as B1 require EIA report for appraisal and also have to undergo public consultation process. The project categorized as B2 are to be appraised based on application accompanied with pre-feasibility report and other relevant documents. So these are the various categories of project, and that project are related with environmental issues. Okay, so that's all for from my side. Thank you, friends. Thanks.